Hello everyone, good evening. Can you confirm audible or not? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So where we stopped in the last session? What we discussed in the last session? Let me open our workspace folder. Okay. So our workspace folder, Python. So you did set up, right? You are able to open the notebook. Either it is a Google Colab notebook, either it is a your local notebook, whatever it is, you are able to open this notebook or not. So let me run. Okay, how we can run this? How we can run this? This is the local one, right? Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook. So if you stuck with something, just let me know, okay? We can fix that issue in your local machine. Now it is opening in my local machine. Yeah. So yesterday's discussion about the functions, right? Yes. Okay, let me ask some questions again. Now my requirement is I have A equals to Sachin. If I write like this, come on, what is the error message? Already we discussed. If A equals to Sachin, if I call like this, what is my error message?
String object is
String object is not
not
callable.
callable.
Not callable or not. For example, if I remove this one, what is the error message? If I
Name
remove this,
A is
yeah,
not
A
defined.
is not defined. Why? Because here two sections you can say. One is like A, another one is like this calling. First looking for what A. A there or not there?
Not
A
there.
not there. If it's not there, okay, it is not go to the next level execution. It gives me an error is what? A is not defined or not. Okay, A is not defined. So can I run this one? Can I run this one? String object is not callable. Why? Already you created what? You defined a variable or not. Already it's defined. If you refresh, then the time it's gone. Now you can see the your message name X is not defined or not. Okay, na? Agreed with me? So if anybody
Yes, sir.
asks, hey, why we go for functions? Any programming language, variables and functions definitions are common for any programming language. Okay, if anybody asks why we go for variables, one line answer is what? To store the data. Simply you can say like to store some data, to represent some data, that's it. Okay, why we go for functions? Which is used for what? To handle some functionality which can be reusable or not. Simple English you can use it. To handle some functionality, that functionality can reuse it or not. Okay, na? Agreed everyone? Okay then. In Python, how we can create a function? How we can create a function? By using which keyword?
Def
Def is the keyword. After that, function name.
name
Function name.
After that, representation.
parenthesis
After that,
colon
okay, block of statements. In Python, the block starts with colon. Okay, if you want to if you want to keep some of the statements, some statements inside the block, you should have to follow what?
indentation.
Indentation or not? You should have to follow the indentation. Okay, now this is the valid syntax or not? 100% valid syntax. Okay, now my question is very simple. Can you write a function? Can you write a function which should not contain any statements? Is it possible or not? I don't want to write any functionality at this moment. At this moment, I don't want to write any functionality. In future, maybe. But at this moment, I don't want to write any functionality. Can you write a function? Okay, let's write. df my function. Okay, can I write like this? My function. Okay, now if I run this one, will it valid or invalid? First tell me, is it valid or invalid?
Valid.
What about remaining people? Is it valid or invalid? Now it is invalid. It's a kind of which error? Syntax error. Syntax error means you not follow the guidelines. You should have to follow the guidelines. There is no reasons, nothing. You should have to follow the guideline. That's it. What is the guideline? Minimum one statement is required or not. But as per my requirement, I don't want to write any statements, right? If you don't want to write any statements, okay, then you can get the syntax error. Two things you have to satisfy now. You should not write any statements which is related to some functionality. That is one thing. The next one is like you should avoid this syntax error. Two things you have to satisfy. Then how you know? We have one keyword is there. Can anyone guess? Pass. Pass. If you write the pass, it is acting like what? One statement. It is satisfied. My function body should contains one statement. Okay, now it is not representing any functionality. See, if I call my function, is it gives me any output? No, right? Yes or no? Got my point? Pass keyword. All are okay?
Sir, once
Yes.
by one.
My requirement is simple thing. I need a function, but I don't want to represent the statements inside the function which is related to one functionality. Then that time you said like need a function, so up to here I can write a function. I don't want to write any statements which is related to some functionality, so that I didn't write anything. Then that time you can get the syntax error. I want to avoid this syntax error. At the same time, the statement should not represent any functionality. Then you can go with what? Pass is the keyword. Now what happened? Okay, syntactically valid. Okay, function which contains minimum one statement. This statement is not represent any functionality or not. The statement is not represents any functionality. Both satisfied, right? Agreed?
Okay.
Okay, okay then. So the next I have one requirement is there. So for last discussion, the first person want to find the sum of 10, 20. The second person want to find the sum of 10, 20 only. Like this, how many members? 10 members require the same functionality, find the sum of 10, 20 or not. But this time the requirement is something different. What you know? First person want to find the sum of 1, 2. Second person want to find the sum of 10, 20. Third person want to find the sum of 100, 200. Like fourth person, there has some different numbers. There has some different numbers. Now tell me, whatever you written the function in the past, will it satisfied or not satisfied for this requirement? Will it satisfied or not satisfied? Previous, okay, what you written? Last time, what you written? Def, come on, sum. After that, you created what? Number
Yeah.
1, number 2. Next, sum equals to number 1 plus number 2 and print
Print
sum.
sum.
Print sum. Now tell me, this sum, first person, if he called, what is the output he can get it? What is the output he can get it? 30.
30.
Second person, if I call, the output is what? 30. Third
30.
person, the output is like 30.
Yeah.
But as per their requirement, first person requires the find the sum of 10, 20 na 1, 2 na?
1, 2.
1, 2, right? Okay, this function satisfied for only one person, that is the second person. Remaining three people, okay, get like unexpected output or not. So the way of writing the function is okay, syntax is okay, but for this requirement it is not satisfied or not. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
My functionality also not changed, find the sum only, but the values, okay, is vary from one person to another person or not. So in this case, how we can handle that functionality? Go on. In this case, how we can handle that functionality? Anyone? Simple. If you know C.
When we call the function law variables parameters
Okay, now if
of
you observe
one
here, okay,
Def
now
name.
if you observe here, first person call the function, okay, he called like this, then the output is what? 30. But this is not my expected output. If you not okay, this is not the expected output, you can ask him, hey, I don't want 30, I don't want to find the sum of 10 20, I want to find the sum of 1 2, like that you can ask. How we can ask? Okay, while calling only, can you give these numbers to him? Then the time he may get some different output to you, he may give some different output to you, you may get some different output or not. Yes or no? So that first person while calling a sum, he get like a 30 as a output, that is not expect output. If it is not expect output, can you give the data to this particular sum function? Yes or no? Your data. So how you can pass the data to the function, that is the first question. How to say, this is common for any programming language, how to pass the data to the function. Okay, that is first one. When we can pass the data to the function. Okay, how to handle or hold the data, hold the data, okay, which was passed, which was passed to the function, pass it to the function. These three questions, anyone answer? How to pass the data to the function? Okay, now tell me, how we can pass means this person has the data. Okay, now how we can pass to this particular one? How we can pass to this particular sum? That is the question. When we can pass the data to the function? That is another question. How to hold the data which is passed to the function, which was passed to the function? Come on. The first one is like, let's start from here. When we can pass the data to the function, you know, while calling. First, the second question answer is what? While calling the function. How we can call a function? Tell me. Function name with parenthesis or not? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Agreed with me? Okay, then the next one, when we can pass the data to the function. If anybody ask, okay, while calling the function we can pass it. Now how to pass the data to the function while calling? While calling, how to pass the data to the function while calling? This is the calling, right? How we can pass? See, the space here is there, here is there, here is there, three sections. Okay, starting, ending, or see in the parenthesis we have some space. Where you want me to pass? Which one is like syntactically valid? Means while calling a function as like a parameters, you can pass. This is the valid syntax. Okay na? While when we can pass the data to the function? While calling. Yes, this is the way you can call it, that is everyone knows. How to pass the data to the function while calling? By passing a parameters or not. Okay, how many values you want me to pass? Come on, like this, two values with comma separated, you can pass it. The values which you passed while calling a function, those values you can say like a parameters. Okay, or arguments, like this you can spell out. Understood everyone? First two questions answers are okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now how to handle or hold the data which was passed to the function. Now you are passing, right, while calling. This data you have to hold or not. This data go to where? This data go to which function? This data go to which function? Sum function. In the sum function, how to hold it? Can anyone guess? Okay, those values, these are the values. These values you can hold here or not. Yes or no? These values you can hold here or not. How you can hold it means you can hold with some references. My first value n1, the second value n2. Like that you can hold it. Understood? Now n1, n2 value coming from here, then the time these values required or not required?
Not required.
Not required. Can you delete it? Yes or no? Understood, everyone? So
Yes, sir.
we can pass the data to the function while calling, okay, by passing some values like this. We can say like a parameters or arguments. How we can hold those values means in Python, okay, here whenever you define a function, the values which is coming from outside to this function while calling, these values 1 2 we can hold with some references like this or not. Okay, in my functions second phase we will discuss like different arguments like formal, actual, positional, keyword arguments, default arguments, variable length arguments. Okay, keyword variable length arguments, like different types of arguments also there. Those all we discussed in the second phase. But first now your focus is like the function while calling, how to pass the data to the function while calling, how to pass the data. Okay, once you pass the data, how to hold the data, how to hold the data. Once you hold it, you can use how you want. That's it. Now here also sum 10 comma 20. Okay, third person want to pass the data what? Sum 100 comma 200, like this. The next person, fourth person, call the function. While calling a function, you can pass the data. While calling a function, we can pass the data as like a arguments like this. You can pass it. Once you pass the data, that data go to your function definition. Here, the first value hold with n1, no? The second value hold with n2. You can find the sum and print it or not. So the difference between this function and this function, what is the difference between this function and this function? First function, the function without parameters. The second one, the function with parameters or not. Agreed? Come on. The function with the parameters, the second one function. Okay, first one function without parameters, second one is like function with parameters or not. Okay, na? Shall we write? Now my question is like, write a function. Okay, write a function which holds two values, which can hold two values. That's it. Okay, which can hold two numbers to find the sum. That is my requirement. Let's write it. Write a function, okay, which can hold two numbers to find the sum. Come on. How we can write a function which can hold two numbers to find the sum. How we can write it? How we can write the function? Def
Def.
Def sum.
find sum.
Mhm.
Okay. The next one, function representation, done. Now write a function, okay, which can hold how many values?
Two values.
Two values. So that how many parameters required?
Two
Two
parameter.
Two parameters. So the first reference is this one, the second reference is this one. Okay, na? In the function body, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
Print
My
sum.
sum equals to n1 plus
N1 plus
n2
N2.
and print sum or
Sum.
not. Done, na? Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to write the code. You only answer it, okay? What is my answer? What is my answer? What is my answer?
Invalid.
Hmm?
Mhm.
What is my answer?
Define function.
It's a simple, right? First of all, find some one member you are trying to access. This member defined by you or not? First tell me. This member defined by you or not?
By
If you not defined, I can go with the Python. If the Python also not defined, I can raise an error is like what? What is the error?
Find some
Name is
not
not defined. Find some is not defined, like that I can. Now first question, find some is defined or not defined? Tell me.
defined.
Defined, right? Okay, if the find sum is like defined by you, it is not gives me any error. It is not gives me any error. What is the value? What is the value?
N1
Come on, what is the value? What is the value?
the given value.
The value is a function, right? Find sum is what? Find sum is a function or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, now n1 equals to 10. What is n1? N1 is what?
10.
N1 is what? 10. Here find sum is what? Find sum is what? Find
Function.
sum is what? It's a function, right? It's a function, so that it gives me like a function or not. Okay, na? Agreed? Okay, then. Now, what happened?
Function.
Come on, tell me. Okay, then. Now, you only just read this error message, you can come to know. Okay? Read it properly.
Positional argument.
Yeah, find some missing two positional arguments n1, n2. Actual find some expecting what? Find some expecting what? Come on,
N1.
two
N1 and
parameters
N2.
or not? N1, n2. Did you pass that one or not pass?
Not pass.
Not
Not
pass.
pass.
Okay, so that they are expecting, but you not given. That the reason he said like what? Okay, missing two
Two
parameters n1, n2. Okay, na? Now we can easily tell this.
One position not required.
Find some missing one required positional parameter is like what? N2 or not? Everyone knows this one. Okay, na? Find some 10, 20. Now, come on.
30.
Now, if I run this one, yes, exactly 30. Okay, na? Now, find some, okay, 1, 2, 3. Hmm? 1, 2,
6.
3.
6.
N3 is not.
Say you are expecting to, but you not passed, then the time you get the error. Now they are expecting to, but you pass something more, right? You passed something more or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that the message is this one. Okay. Okay, give me 1 minute, okay?